And welcome to a new episode of The Simpsons Did It. I'm your host, Steven Skolansky.
And I'm your co-host, Robert Skolansky.
Oh, yes. Let's all go to Moe's. You want to go to Moe's?
So, I do want to go. I do want to go to Moe's just once, just check it out. But I have a question for you and all of our listeners out there. Have you invented a drink or had a drink invented in your name?
Not in my name, but we definitely invented a drink. And we can, why don't we get into that when we get into Homer creating the drink?
Okay.
We'll get into the episode a bit and
I've
we'll
actually had friends make a shot in my name.
Ooh.
Yes, it was all right. So this week we are going to Flaming Moe's. We're drinking a Flaming Moe. Are we going or are we drinking? Or are we doing both?
We'll go. We'll go and drink a Flaming Moe.
So, and the premise of this episode is loosely based off the film Cocktail, which I've never seen.
Well, I've seen it, and we actually had a cocktail reference back in the party episode where Ned Flanders mixed a drink, and that was a reference from the movie Cocktail.
Yep. So, but this is based off the movie.
Yes.
The air date is November 21st, 1991. So we're getting inching closer and closer to the new year. And
not only that, but for those of you keeping track, this is episode 45. So we are only 5 episodes away from hitting the big 5-0.
Yeah. Maybe we'll do a celebration.
Yeah, we'll do a celebration. And not only that, but 2 weeks after that, we'll be hitting the 1-year anniversary of The Simpsons Did It.
We will. So awesome. Recap. Moe takes Homer's cocktail recipe without crediting Homer, and his bar flourishes.
I mean, his bar did need a pick-me-up.
It did need a pick-me-up. It really did, because not even the regulars were going anymore.
Yeah, it was pretty much just Homer sitting at a bar. Well, I mean, to be fair, Moe didn't pay his beer guy, and
which we'll get to.
Yeah, and so I mean, if your bar doesn't have beer, who's going to show up?
Correct. Our couch gag this week: 2 thieves are robbing the Simpsons. The Simpsons come in and sit on the couch, and the robbers dump them off the couch and then steal the couch.
Well, yeah.
So
I mean, who doesn't want that Simpsons couch? I mean, think of it like this.
That's true.
The Simpsons have been on TV now for 2+ years, so these guys are like, man, these Simpsons, they got some money. And then they robbed the place and they realized, wow, the Simpsons really don't have money. But this couch is famous.
Yes.
We got to take this couch. And we're going to step back a little bit because someone doesn't know how to read. We're going to tell you what the chalkboard gag is.
Oh, yeah. The chalkboard gag this week. Underwear should be worn on the inside.
Unless you're Underdog or Superman. So Bart obviously saw Superman this week. And was like, I'm going to wear my red undies on the outside and be Superman. And obviously, hopefully he was wearing underwear on the inside too. Because I don't know for all the guys out there. The women, I feel like the women always wear, can go commando. But the guys, I feel like wearing underwear is a lot comfier than not. Yeah. But I feel like Bart wore them on the inside, but also wore a pair on the outside. And, he obviously that's a detentionable offense.
Yes.
You don't wear your underwear on the outside of your body.
Nope.
All right, guys. So this episode opens, I think, probably one of the best opens so far of The Simpsons. Sure. And we open with Kent Brockman welcoming us to Ion Springfield. And so the opening credits of the show take place around Springfield. I mean, you get a lot of different the school, landmarks. I think, landmarks, the donut guy, Lard Lad, I think was in there. And then you get just a bunch of shots of women in bikinis. Because, I mean, it's Kent Brockman's segment. It's got to be kept sexy. And obviously we see Kent Brockman huddled around 2 hot chicks. We see Kent Brockman getting a tattoo. I mean, it's just really kind of funny how out there Kent Brockman seems to be as a news reporter in this particular segment. And after the intro credits, Homer's just sitting on the couch Wow. Infotainment. Okay, I'm gonna say that was like one of the best openings so far on The Simpsons.
Yeah, just for sure.
And I don't know if I've ever used I remember Homer saying it, the infotainment line. But I don't think I've ever used it. I kind of want to now if I'm ever watching like a program. You know,
and you're
either
entertained and you're getting informed.
Exactly.
Although I don't think Homer was really being informed by Kent Brockman in that opening segment.
No, not in the opening segment, but he knew he was going to be informed, I think.
Maybe.
And so Kent starts talking about the 25th anniversary of the tire fire. So this is our very first appearance of the Springfield tire fire.
Now, I have a question. So in that shot, they show Kent Brockman talking about it for the first time 25 years earlier. So how old is Kent Brockman?
I mean, he does have gray hair. He does seem kind of aged. I mean, I'd say newscasters, you would know more than me, but I feel like most news reporters start getting into the game around 25 to 30, right?
23.
Exactly. So even if, let's say he started at 23, like 48.
48.
And we all know there's news anchors well over the 48 range.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, it's definitely believable.
And eventually, way down the line, we will eventually find out how that tire fire originally started.
We will. And so one of the other segments is they get to meet the town's oldest man and the town's fattest man. And Homer's sitting on the couch. It's like, he's not that fat. And what did Homer think he was? I don't think Homer could have thought he was the fattest guy in town.
No.
Maybe he's seen fatter.
Yeah, maybe.
And so
this is the fattest. But this is the fattest man in Springfield.
Yes. Yeah, in town. Yeah.
So maybe Homer has seen fatter people outside of Springfield.
Maybe.
But not in Springfield.
I don't know. But then Kent gets to talk to Dredrick Tatum about growing up in Springfield. Now, first, I want to say, like, I get it's like Ion Springfield, but if Dredrick Tatum's no longer in Springfield, I don't necessarily know. I get it's about him growing up in Springfield, but I don't necessarily know if that would be an Ion Springfield.
Well, maybe he still has a place in Springfield.
Except he says, if you ever catch me back in Springfield, he'll be he really fucked up.
No, he said effed up.
Oh, did he?
Didn't swear. Yeah.
I thought he swore and they beeped it.
Oh, they might have bleeped it.
Exactly. Yeah. So technically he swore.
Yeah. And I do like how and he's like, yeah, that town's a dump. Yeah. So why would you talk to a guy belittling your city?
Yet
even though he grew up there.
And not only did he grow up there, but yet he actually does come back to Springfield to fight Homer.
Yep.
And so when we get to that episode, that's when he's effed up.
Yes.
And so we get some Kent Brockman talking to some chicks in bikinis again, and Bart walks into the room and sees the girls in bikinis. He's like, TNA. And Bart knows some of the craziest slang. Like, like, I get it, but it's just so funny. And I like how this bikini segment was part 7 of this segment. So Kent Brockman has done it before.
Yes.
And so Homer's like, what are you still doing up? And she's like, well, the girls are having a slumber party. And they're just, I mean, this is, and he can't sleep. But I think this is obviously the first instance of, Lisa actually having a sleepover, or friends in general.
Yeah. So, I mean, we both had, granted, we're both guys, so we have guy friends over. And normally, like, when we had friends stay the night, I mean, I never really had any trouble sleeping when I had friends over. Now, granted, you're older than me, so when I had my friends over, you were probably in high school or already in college. And so, we would just play video games. Well, we really didn't watch movies. Like,
well, no, I mean, I guess Simpsons would be, well, technically they have a basement, but they're kind of 2-floor, and Bart would have been next door. But I feel like during my sleepovers anyway, we always slept in our downstairs. So you were 2 floors up, so you wouldn't be able to hear anyway. So in the Simpson home anyway, I could see how Bart wouldn't be able to sleep. And so we also get our first shot of in between the floors, which is awesome. And this was brought up when we talked with Christine from Friends Do Fandoms what was it? It was Lisa's substitute episode, and we were kind of talking about going between floors, and this is the first instance where we actually get to see something between the floors. And in between the Simpsons floors, we see asbestos, a dead rat, and a pipe that says lead on it.
So that's a lead pipe.
Yes, that it will be alluded to. There's a lead pipe in The Simpsons. Thank you for explaining that to our listeners, because I feel like a pipe that says lead on it would not, unless it's lead running through the pipe. Like the pipe is PVC, but there's lead running through it.
I don't know if I don't think a PVC pipe can actually carry hot lead.
Probably not. And so we get into Lisa's room and we see Lisa, Janie, and we know Wanda. I guess I don't know if we've
and there's a couple other girls in there, and I don't think we ever see them again.
Yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on that on the schoolyard to see if we see him again. But the girls are playing Truth or Dare, and one of the girls who has braces, so unknown name, I'm guessing, dares her to kiss Bart. And so Bart's in the kitchen, drinking out of the fridge. He closes the door. I mean, it's so dark and ominous. It's just like shuts the door. There's a girl. She runs up and actually kisses Bart. And Bart's like, ew, which most 10-year-old boys, probably getting kissed by a girl. And now I can't remember what was said, but I don't remember but it was repeated at the same time as the girl, and Bart gets jinxed.
Oh yeah,
I can't remember. It was like,
I'm gonna go tell mom and dad.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm gonna go tell mom and dad. And
what are you gonna do? Go tell mom and dad. But I love the fact that like Bart walks to the fridge and there's nobody there, and he opens the fridge, grabs like a drink out, and closes the fridge, and then the girls are there like a horror movie.
Well, yeah, it's like the Batman effect.
Yeah, I love
it. The girls could have been there, and he could have opened the fridge and shut the fridge, and then Batman could have been gone. Same thing. Just disappears.
But the girls aren't Batman.
No, they're not. They're sneaky like Batman. That's for sure.
So Bart gets jinxed and he runs to Homer and like he's like and like pointing at him. Homer's like, "What's wrong? Something happened, boy?" Like treating him like, a dog, where like the dog's trying to tell you Timmy fell down the well. Yeah. And so Bart eventually writes down on a notepad that says, "Say my name." And Homer goes, "Well, why would I do that?" And Bart yells at him going, "Because I'm jinxed." And then Homer punches him. And, I'm sorry. The line is, "Because I'm jinxed, damn it." And then Homer punches him because that's the rule. That's the law of being jinxed. If you talk while you're jinxed, you get punched.
I mean, I think Homer's might be 70s rules. Nowadays, I think it's like you owe someone a Coke.
No, I think when the girls jinx them, they're like, they're like, you can't talk until somebody says your name. Yeah. The rules, but what happens if you don't get somebody a Coke while you're jinxed and you talk?
I don't know.
You get punched.
I guess.
That's the law. That's the law, according to Homer.
Yes.
So then the girls find Bart, and they want to give him a makeover, and so Bart makes a run for it to his room. And this scene is a reference to Alfred Hitchcock's North by Northwest, which another old reference because Simpsons.
Yep.
And so Bart like locks himself in his room, hiding from the girls, and the girls take the hinges off of Bart's door, and Bart just jumps out the window and just like he doesn't even jump, he falls.
Okay, like, so for those of you out there, boys that had younger sisters growing up, is this something would you do? Would you risk your own neck to escape a makeover?
I mean, I don't know if I would. I mean, now granted, when we were young lads ourselves, I remember an instance where Ben was over and you guys were playing laser tag, and you guys put the pads on me to shoot at me for laser tag, and I ran away on my bike. I don't know if that's really the same thing.
It's not the same thing. So for all you girls out there that listen to our podcast, let us know if you're, I guess, older or younger sister, and you had a brother and you thought it'd be funny to throw makeup on him. So message us on Instagram, Facebook, email us, thesimpsonsdiditpod@gmail.com. Let us know your stories, and we could probably get you on the air here, and we'll tell everyone your stories.
Yep. So, after Bart jumps out the window, Maggie is, right behind the girls, and the girls see her, and they're like, And Lisa's like, come here, Maggie. Like, and she's a baby. I'm sure she's not going to try to run away.
Yeah.
And so the girls give Maggie a makeover instead, and she goes downstairs. And Homer's like flipping through the paper, and like it's the same effect where like Maggie shows up when he like moves the paper, and then like he doesn't notice her, and then finally he notices her, and he goes, you know what? That's it. I'm out, and he leaves. Now, here's my question. Marge must have been home, right? Was she sleeping? Like
that, I know. Like, okay, so first, yes, that I didn't even think about that. So yes, was Marge home? 1. 2, what time was it? Like, okay, well,
so I assume. Well, now here's the question. Here's the other question: is this summertime or is this during the school year?
3, I didn't know Homer knew how to read the newspaper.
Well,
okay, that's
he might have been reading the comics.
Okay, fair enough. I guess he does like the sports section too. So
yeah. So Lisa's 8. You got to figure at a slumber party. Usually, you know, parents allow the kids to stay up a little bit later.
Yeah.
So at 8 years old, our curfew is what, like 8 o'clock, 8:30,
somewhere around there. Yeah.
Like, you know, during the school year. So figure it's probably 10 o'clock at night.
And I mean, if it's a standard bar, I mean, I guess if you're thinking, I guess I don't know when the bars close, but normally most bars 2, 3. So, but you never. You never know about Moe's.
Well, I mean, it's Moe.
Yeah.
You're right. So I have to imagine Marge is probably home. Otherwise, I don't know if Homer would have left. Although he could have. But
he's out of there. He's got to go to Moe's.
And so, and like, what happened to Bart? He must not have gotten hurt. After falling out
he looked pretty hurt.
Well, we never see Bart after he falls out the window.
No. Well, isn't there a shot of him on the ground?
I didn't think so.
Oh.
I don't think there is, because the girls look out the window and then they see Maggie. Maybe. So we never see Bart after he lands out the window.
I mean, he fell out of a tree at the pool party and broke his leg. I feel like Bart might not be okay.
Yeah. So I mean, this is some irresponsible parenting right here. You got a kid jumping out a window. You got the girls staying up, giving a makeover. And the other thing, I have to imagine Lisa and the girls got the makeup from Marge. Maybe. I mean, they're 8. I mean, do 8-year-old girls have their own makeup kits?
I mean, I don't know. I would have to imagine maybe. I don't know. So I guess I'm not a girl. I don't know.
And like, let's imagine that the girls don't have their own makeup, so they have to go grab it from Marge. How is Marge not stopped? Like, this is terrible. This is terrible parenting, and Homer and Marge should be ashamed of themselves.
Yep.
So we get to Moe's, and Moe is playing solitaire, and
he's also cheating at solitaire.
Was he?
Yes, he like looks at the cards to see if they're the right ones that he needs.
Oh, so and Moe's hair has been gray for a while now, because in earlier episodes they were black, but
yep, straight black. Yep, he's grayed out. Yeah.
And so Moe is like, oh man, nobody's coming to the bar anymore. And he's like, thank God for that cigarette machine next for the junior high next door. And man, junior high, like, is he talking about the kids getting the cigarettes or the teachers, or a combination of both? I'm assuming the teachers.
I don't know. No. I knew a bunch of kids that smoked in junior high.
But like, they wouldn't go into Moe's to drink.
No, they go into Moe's to use the cigarette machine. That's what he's alluding to.
Yeah. So, but he can't be making that much money off the cigarette machine.
I guess we'd have to see what the average price of cigarettes were, plus the cost of inflation for them being in a bar. Because I feel like anything in a bar is going to be an inflated cost than going to a gas station or grocery store.
Yes. So, I mean...
And plus they're teenagers. They might not even... Well, okay, think of it like this. They can't go to a gas station or...
Correct.
To buy cigarettes, so Moe says, "Oh, I'll hike the price because
Yes. So, but the problem is, most bars make their money off of tips with food and beer.
Yeah,
you're probably not making any money on the cigarettes. So, and as we alluded earlier to in the beginning of this episode, Moe fell behind on his beer payments, and his distributor cut him off. And I feel like at that point, you're gonna close your doors. Like, if you're not getting alcohol...
he does have liquor. He does have
that's
smidgens
because
of...
nobody drinks it.
No, exactly. Nobody, and liquor doesn't go bad. There's no expiration date on it, so...
Yeah, and here is the reason why he probably couldn't pay his distributor. He spent $10,000 on a machine called the Love Tester, which we actually see in a later episode as well.
Well, this is I mean, I think we see it all the time now in the bar. I think it actually becomes a staple.
But this is the first time we've seen
it. Yep.
And the levels on the tester go from cold fish, lukewarm fish, hubba hubba, Casanova, and hot tamale. And so we cut back to Homer, and he's trying to suck whatever beer was left in the tap, and Mo goes, well, Barney beat you to it, and he cut up his gums pretty badly, which I can imagine it's a metal, tap, and if you're really going at it, you could probably cut up your gums pretty bad.
I mean, it's Barney. He probably was going at it.
Now, have you ever tried that, to drink out of a tap?
Not at home, but I've drinking. I like, if anyone, I don't think I've ever mentioned this, but I make beer at home. Early on, I actually had a keg and used a tap, and it'd be fun to drink.
But I'm talking about a bar tap.
No, like but those, I mean, okay, so it seemed like I've seen beer flow, but I don't think you necessarily have to. Well, okay, if it's completely empty, sucking it dry, but I feel like can't be that bad to just pull the tap and get beer on. I mean, it comes out slightly fast, but I don't think it comes out any faster than anything else, like soda at a soda machine or anything. Now the spray guns that they have, like the soda guns they have at bars, I don't think it'd be safe to drink out of those.
No, unfortunately, I can't say I've ever drinking out of a tap.
Yeah,
at least not that I can remember.
And so obviously, Mo's like, not to worry, I'll learn how to make other drinks at bartending school, which is probably a good thing. And then he pulls out a cocktail chart and blows on it. Like, it was just layers of dust on it. Because he never uses it.
Because all the guys drink beer.
Exactly.
Nobody goes in there to drink his liquor.
Yep. And then the first thing on there is the gin and tonic. And he's like, gin and tonic? Those two things mix?
Oh, my God.
So, obviously, Bart is great. He knows how to make cocktails. And so Homer is like, well, I invented a drink. And so we kind of flash back to him in the room with Patty and Selma, and they're going, like, just like they have done in episodes past, they go through a photo trip of this time in Czechoslovakia, and we see that Selma cannot plug in her razor, and we get a shot of her hairy legs, and everyone in there is like, ugh. And so Homer's like, oh, I got to get a drink. So he gets up, and Selma's like, if you're going for the last beer, or if you're going for beer, I got the last one. And he's like, dough. And so he's like, I did what anyone else would have done. I got all the liquor bottles, and took every last bit of every liquor bottle and mixed them together. And in my haste, I accidentally mixed in children's cough syrup. And so Homer takes a drink. He's like, oh, it passed the first test. I didn't go blind.
That's always the good point.
Yeah.
So now we're talking about Homer, mixing his own drink. So my story of how my shot was made, we were playing a drinking game, as one does in college, and I made a friend of mine do a shot of Everclear. And for those of you who have never done a shot of Everclear, I highly suggest never doing one. For those of you who have done it and know what I'm talking about, you will never do another one unless you really like the taste of Everclear, but I can't imagine too many people do. So two of my buddies decided to make a shot for me. And in the shot was cream de menthe, the cherry stuff, grenadine, vodka, and I can never remember the fourth ingredient. But there's 4 ingredients. And it didn't taste too bad because of the mint. The cream de menthe just overpowered everything.
Good. Now no one can steal your drink.
Correct.
It's just like the Flaming Moe. There's an ingredient missing. And even you don't know the missing ingredient.
Exactly. Anytime I want to make the shot, I have to text one of my friends who helped make the drink and be like, hey, what are the ingredients of this shot?
Right. You don't even know your own drink. So my drink, well, not really my drink. It was a group of our friends. We were at my neighbor's house, and we were having a party, and we were kind of thinking, okay, So we gotta come up with a drink for us, and we wanted to make it kind of crazy, and it's Wisconsin.
Yeah,
so
correct.
What we did was a shot of SoCo, a shot of Kahlua, half shot of Bailey's.
Why would you use what?
Yep. Oh, no. Yep.
Kahlua and Bailey's are basically the same thing.
No, they're not. One's a cream and one's a coffee. So they're completely different. So let me get back to my story. So we got a shot of SoCo. Yep. We got a shot of Kahlua.
Yeah.
Half shot of Bailey's, and chocolate milk. We called it the Electric Cow.
How does it taste?
Awesome. You have no idea how awesome it tastes. Like, this is now as a sidebar, this is the only drink I've ever thrown up on. Because for those of you that don't know, drinking an absorbent amount of milk, regardless of alcohol, drinking an absorbent amount of milk, you'll throw up. So it is
literally impossible to drink a gallon of milk in an hour.
Yes. And so this was more in college because I was basically making these drinks left and right for all of our friends, and I just had a few too many and ended up throwing up. And
shocking.
It wasn't because, I mean, partly might have been because of the alcohol, but my guess was, if I had to take a guess, it was probably the sheer amount of actual milk I drank.
Like, how much milk did you guys put in there?
I mean, just to fill it.
Was this out of like a red Solo cup situation?
Kind of. I mean, I guess it was just a cup that we had lying. I mean, any glass out of the cabinet we had lying around. But I mean, I guess it just depends on what kind of glass we were doing it in. I usually did some of the bigger ones. I double up, so I do like two shots, and I mean, there was a kind of a balance to it. But I think the thing that made the drink the best was because milk is so thick that it kind of dumbed down the alcohol just enough that you didn't really taste it. But chocolate milk worked really well because with Kahlua and Bailey's in it kind of had a good feel to it. So back to Homer. He brings his drink back into the room, and Patty or Selma, I can't remember, was smoking a cigarette and drops some ash into it, and it lights on fire because a lot of alcohol in a glass will...
Now, here's the thing. With any kind of alcohol, if you want to set it on fire, it has to be at least 151 or 150 proof or higher.
Yes. And so one other thing I do want to mention, I didn't invent this drink. I actually got it off a computerized bartender thing from the early 2000s that I bought at Target. Sure. But there was a recipe called the Flaming Dr. Pepper. Now, obviously, this was created way before, so I'm sure that's where they got the name. Probably. And so what it is you do a shot, you get a shot of 151.
Yep.
You light the shot of 151 on fire.
Yep.
And drop it into a 12-ounce glass of beer. So basically, you take a can of beer, put it in a glass, and drop that shot in the beer. I shit you not. It tastes just like a Dr. Pepper.
Interesting.
And now, I only ever had like one of these a night because it's 151.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, it tastes just like Dr. Pepper. Do it and make up your own name, like the Flaming Moe, when you tell people. I mean, you could tell it's the Flaming Dr. Pepper, but you could be the one that invented it. I'm sure not a lot of people know about this drink. So back to Homer. So he drinks it again, and he basically tells Moe, "This is the best drink I have ever had in my life."
And to go back a little bit, so Selma and Patty were in Czechoslovakia. Am I thinking wrong that the Dead Sea is by Israel?
It is. I mean, it's borders Israel.
Yeah. Okay. So does the Dead Sea also border former Czechoslovakia?
I don't know. Let me pull up a map here. So
I know you were at the Dead Sea.
I was. I swam in the Dead Sea. So
you didn't sink like Selma.
I did not sink like. I mean, I don't know how. I guess I'm not very good at weight to salt ratio, and I guess I don't know how heavy you would have to be to sink. Now, according to Google Maps that I'm looking at, I got Israel and Jordan border the Dead Sea.
Yeah.
So unless they made a day trip out of it.
Yeah, but where's former Czechoslovakia? Or is it still Czechoslovakia?
I think it's still Czechoslovakia. I guess I don't know. I got Turkmenistan, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Kazakh, because I don't know how to pronounce it.
Czech Republic. Yeah, I don't know how they got from Czechoslovakia to
the Dead Sea.
To the Dead Sea.
Camel.
A camel.
They rode a camel. I don't know. But I think they did. I think one of the photos did have camels in it. So
that's a long trek to the Dead Sea from Czechoslovakia.
I bet it is. Especially on camelback. So
yeah.
So Homer decides to, make Moe the drink, and Moe's just pulling out bottles of alcohol out of his thing. And he's like, he takes a drink of it. Or no, he's like, I also need cough syrup. And so he goes through his lost and found. He's like, I probably got some. He's like, I got a Bowie knife, a glass eye, a troll doll, Krusty's non-narcotic cough syrup.
Yeah,
are in the lost and found.
I do like the fact. I do like the fact that he took out the glass eye and it rolled off the bar.
Yep. And so for those of you who don't know, Krusty's non-narcotic cough syrup is spelled. Narcotic is spelled NARKOTIK, and cough is spelled KOUGH. And I'm assuming they went this route because it's Krusty.
Krusty, yes.
So you got to put a bunch of K's in there.
Yeah.
Oh, and believe me, we'll tell you about the K's later.
Yeah.
And so after Homer makes it, Moe drinks. He's like, it's not, the best. And he's like, well, we'll light it on fire. And he lights it on fire, and Moe drinks. He's like, oh, it's like there's a party in my mouth and everyone's invited. Now this line, was in old Butterfingers commercial. I'm assuming featuring The Simpsons.
No, I don't think so.
It wasn't one of the Bart Simpson.
The Bart Simpson Butterfinger commercials weren't out until the late 90s.
Okay. So this was now, did they get it from The Simpsons? Like, was this line created by The Simpsons?
No, this was in a Butterfingers commercial before The Simpsons.
Oh, before The Simpsons.
Yes.
Okay. Did you have a year on that?
I don't have a year on it because I couldn't. All I could find was it was in an old Butterfingers commercial. I couldn't find the actual.
Did you find the commercial?
No. You could probably look.
Because I was going to say, usually YouTube has the years and stuff that commercials are made imprinted in the videos.
I mean, I could try.
All right, you look that up.
This line is also in Homer at the Bat, which is a fantastic episode, and I can't wait to review it. So we see a guy running the love tester, and he hates it because it doesn't work.
It probably works. It's just him.
Yeah. So I mean, so he goes back and he's like, Moe, I want my money back, and he wants his nickel back.
Yes.
So I mean, I don't know if I don't think the Simpsons created this line, but so anyways, back to the episode, and so Moe is like, you know what? Here's a drink on the house, and he passes him a flaming Homer, and the guy's like, oh man, this is really good, and it loosened up my phlegm, because there's cough syrup in it. And so he asks Moe what it's called, and Homer goes, it's a flaming Moe. Flaming Moe.
I invented it.
Did it. My name is Moe. It's a flaming Moe. What? That's believable. What? Stop looking at me. It's a flaming Moe. It's a flaming Moe. So, and this is how we get the flaming Moe, even though it's not really a flaming Moe. And so we cut to the next scene, and Moe's bar is super packed, and it picks up in popularity because of the drink. And because of the popularity of his bar, he now has a salad bar in his bar. Why?
Kind of crazy.
Weird. Like, if you're going to have food, you would just have barred food, not a salad bar. It was really odd.
But Barney wanted to see it work.
Yeah. Well, there was a sneeze guard on it, and Barney's like, what's this force field thing? I was like, that's a sneeze guard. He's like, oh, and Barney sneezes on it, and you see the phlegm. It's really gross. This is probably the only part of this episode that I'm not a fan of. I mean, I do like gross out humor, but this is a little over the line even for me. And so, but the sneeze guard works. It kept the phlegm from going onto the salad. And so lady comes up to the bar and she goes to Mo and she's like, I couldn't help but noticing the sign above at your bar. And I love how Mo points to the sign that says bartenders do it till you barf.
I mean, is that serving you till you barf?
Maybe, I'm assuming so. But the lady was actually looking at the waitress wanted sign. And so Mo was like, well, to apply, I'm going to need your name and your measurements. And I think he asked for her address too, if I remember.
No, just the name, her name and measurements. And he's like,
and I love, it's like, well,
do you really expect me to give you my measurements? He's like, well, no, but we could do it the fun way.
Well, no, because she's like, I could just give you the measurements. And Mo creepily says, well, it's more fun if I do it myself. And I'm like, oh, God damn it.
Yep. And then so she's like, what do you offer in the way of salary? Minimum wage and tips. Of course, there are fringe benefits. And she's like, she's like, such as an unforgettable weekend at Club Mo.
This is really like, honestly, looking back at this scene, it would not fly in today's standards.
But we do know that Mo is creepy. But then she's like, I prefer to take my vacation someplace hot. And then Mo's like, I like your moxie, kid. You're hired. And then she's like, you shan't regret this. Methinks I shan't.
And I like to point out, so Mo says it pays, minimum wage plus tips, which actually for a bar is pretty freaking good. Cause like even restaurants, I think minimum wage is like $2.30 if you make tips nowadays. So minimum wage back in 1991 was $4.25. So I'm assuming even with that like that's higher than what some waitresses and waiters make nowadays.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
So like that bartender in 91 as a waitress, she was making some decent change, especially at Moe's with Flaming, with the drinks, and I'm sure they serve food now, and because it's a popular bar. And so then we see Harv Bannister, vice president of Tipsy McStagger's Good Time Drinking and Eating Emporium. Say that 5 times fast. And I do like the fact, like, so this is the first instance of where Mo thinks that Tipsy McStagger is a real person, but it's just their logo. And the Harv just goes, oh yeah, Tipsy is just a combination of successful logos. And I should have really looked at the logo.
Oh, I did. I did. And I tried Googling it, and I mean, it was just a guy swinging from a lamppost in all reality. I mean, maybe I really don't know, unless like the guy kind of had that, what's the Pep Boys look to it, the car company. But that was really all that I could honestly get out of it, I think.
Yeah. So Harv wants to buy the drink from Mo, and Mo says, no way. Do you know how much of my blood, sweat, and tears are in that drink? I love how the fact that everybody in the bar spits it out. Like, how do you take him literally? And because even
it is Mo. It is Mo.
And Mo's like, guys, I didn't mean that literally. And so, Mo goes, here's a Flaming Mo in the house. And the guy takes it and like pours it into a sack or something to steal it.
Yep, exactly. So one other thing. So I actually went back and typed in, it's like there's a party in my mouth and everyone's invited. Yeah. It's actually from Pop Rocks. Or I'm sorry, Rock Pops was the
For what year? Are you sure it's not Pop Rocks?
No, it's Rock Pops. Oh, what? It's those. It's like the crystal candy.
Yeah,
it's like the crystal candy on a stick.
A stick. So what year?
Let's see. What year were those invented? God, I feel like that's like really early, like 40s, 50s, right? Like those, I feel like our parents had those as kids, like rock candy.
I'm sure.
But so looking at the slogan, that's where, so Simpsons didn't necessarily come up with it, but then there was also, it's like you said, the old Butterfingers commercial, although it's better known for appearing in The Simpsons twice. Yes, once as Moe's reaction to the Flaming Homer, and once as Ken Griffey Jr.'s reaction to Mr. Burns' tonic.
Now my question is because like a lot of people say it, and like
their reference has to be The Simpsons. Like, I mean, if anyone is saying this, it has to be,
because like I've said it a few, more than my fair share over the years, but I never recall getting it from The Simpsons.
Oh, I do. I mean, this episode right here.
Don't forget, this episode came out in 91. I was 4 years old.
Yeah, so I'm probably more likely to have known it than you.
Yes.
And so Barney's like, good for you, Mo, for not selling your drink. Only an idiot would give up $1 million idea. And then Homer says dough, because obviously he was the one that created it. Now, before we go any further, remind me, did Marge already send Homer to the bar? Or Marge sent Bart to the bar to get Homer?
No.
That's a little bit later?
Yes, that's after the prank phone call.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you are way ahead.
Were he singing and dancing on the bar?
Yeah, you're way ahead.
Seriously? Because I thought Moe's got famous. Okay, we'll continue on. We'll see if we catch up to it.
Trust me, we will get there.
Okay, so next day we get to school, and during Martin's presentation at school is about Archer Martin, developer of the gas. What is that? The chromatograph. I don't know. How do you pronounce that?
Chromatography.
Chromatography. The gas chromatography. And then we also find out that's later used in the episode by Harv McBannister, or Tipsy McStagger's company, for finding out the.
It's used by Professor Frink.
It is.
Yes.
And so I like how Miss Krabappel's like, man, I hate to, like, you really set the curve high on this one. I hate to be the next be the next one to follow you. And so
Bart Simpson.
Yep, he's the one that's going to follow Martin, and he says that Homer was the true inventor of the Flaming Moe, and he pulls out the mixer and a couple bottles of liquor, and she's like, "You brought
Bart,
liquor?
Is that liquor?
Did you bring liquor into the classroom?" He's like, "But I brought enough for everyone."
And she's like, "Take this to the teacher's lounge. She'll get what's left at the end of the day."
Yeah, but everyone,
teachers are alcoholics.
Yep, and so everyone obviously calls Bart a liar, and even Nelson's like, your dad didn't invent it. Mo the bartender invented it. I like how Nelson knows who Mo is. That's pretty classy.
Well, I feel like everybody know who everybody in Springfield will know who Mo is because of the Flaming Mo.
Well, now.
Yeah.
I'm just saying in the past. I don't think anyone might know. I mean, I guess it's a small town.
Springfield's a small town. Yeah.
Yeah. And so Moe's obviously starting to get more fame, and he, is putting more money into the bar. And so he replaces the Tavern sign with the one that says Flaming Moe.
Flaming Moe's, yep.
And now we also see that Mo has a bouncer, because,
he's so popular.
It's a swaggy bar. And so we see the bouncer welcoming Krusty the Clown and two hotties to the bar. And I like how he pays off the bouncer. Like, Krusty couldn't get in anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. And then I love the fact that, like, there's, like, I don't know why there's paparazzi there. Like, was this, like, the opening night of Flaming Moe's?
Yeah, the grand opening.
And so some photographer takes a picture of Krusty, and Krusty punches him. Like, you're going to get, like, I don't know. Well, I feel like that would be on the news the next day.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see, like, Krusty. Well, okay, so to be fair, Krusty is a celebrity, and wasn't it like the 90s, like a lot of celebrities were really upset at paparazzis and got into a lot of fights? Like, was that more 90s, like
late 90s, early 2000s? Yeah, that was more late 90s, early 2000s. And even still through today, I mean, Keanu Reeves once, was it Keanu Reeves? Yeah, I think Keanu Reeves stole a camera from a paparazzi and ran away with it.
Yeah, so celebrities are crazy.
Yeah. So then we get, like, the whole town gathered in front of Flaming Moe's, and Quimby wants to rename it Flaming Moe's Day, and one of his bodyguards is like, "Sir, it's already Veterans Day." Well, a day could be two things.
And as we all know, with nowadays, apparently, it's like national everything. Every day is like it's National Pizza Day, National Burrito Day, National whatever. So days now could definitely be. So I don't know if The Simpsons necessarily invented a day could be two things, but apparently nowadays days can be two things.
So then we get a headline, and the headline says "Wizard of Walnut Street," because like Wall Street, but yeah. So actually, we get a bunch of like different headlines, and we get Timely magazine, like Time. It's a reference to time.
Yeah, we get it.
And one mo for the road instead of one more, because it's mo. I'm just gonna explain them because it's funnier that way.
No, it's not. And you typed Road.
I did. I typed Rayoed.
Rayoed. One for the one mo for the Rayoed.
One mo for the road. And then Bar and Stool magazine, Through the Roof.
Because it's like a flame going through the roof when they light it.
I thought I was explaining the jokes.
I beat you to it. But it's funny. Okay, so it is kind of funny that I love how I guess it would be more of a science experiment to see how much alcohol it would take to make a flame skyrocket. Because really, I've lit in a few shots before. Now, to be fair, it was just a shot, not an entire drink. But I've lit in a shot before, and it just lights on fire. Like, it's not, it's like lighting a candle.
Well, don't forget, like, any alcohol that's over 150 proof is basically you're drinking gasoline.
Yeah.
But, gasoline also has that flammability. But basically, you would need it to be in a small kind of container, and then you would need to light it on fire because it needs a little bit of oxygen to breathe, but it's like, making a bomb. So, so then we come back to the Simpsons, and they're eating dinner, and Lisa tells Marge that she wants a virgin Moe instead of milk with dinner. And my question is, how the hell do you make a virgin flaming Moe? Because you need alcohol to light it on fire.
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess nothing kids drink are flammable.
Are you just gonna give them cough syrup with a little bit of alcohol on it? Like,
maybe.
I don't know how you make a virgin Moe. So Homer gets upset when Lisa asks for it, and,
rightfully so.
And because he's pissed because Moe is getting rich off of his recipe, and so Bart walks into the room with a shirt that says "I got toasted at Flaming Moe's." I want that shirt, by the way.
I'm assuming that shirt has to exist.
Probably. And so so Homer yells at Bart to take his shirt off, and he does, and Bart eats dinner shirtless, which I thought was hilarious.
I could see, I mean, my kid sometimes eats dinner shirtless. Like, if he spills milk on his shirt, he'll take it off and just eat the rest of the dinner shirtless. But here's
the difference between your kid and Bart. Your kid is going to be 4 in a few months. Or 3. Bart is 10.
Yes. Same difference. And so we get Marge, obviously she's, we see Homer's upset. He, he talks to Marge, and Marge is like, maybe you're willing to share some of the wealth. Maybe Moe is willing to share some of the wealth with you. And, he's like, I'm too upset to eat dinner. I'm going to Moe's. Don't. Because,
that's his go-to. He goes to Moe's when he's upset.
Yeah. And so I do think it's kind of funny that, you would think Moe and Homer are pretty, good friends. And I kind of would think that, Moe wouldn't be such of an ass, but he is.
Yeah.
And so Homer, as he goes to Moe, is trying to push his way through, and, the bouncer stops him, and he's like, "You're not on the list." "But I didn't even tell you my name yet."
Okay.
What's your name? "Homer, you're not on the list."
Oh my God.
And so Homer runs off, and so we get Moe coming up on the bar. He's like, "I got some great friends in the audience in the crowd today. Aerosmith." And he's like, "Come on up here, guys, and play." Like, nah. I mean, I guess, why would Aerosmith want to play at a dive bar? But I was like, well, I got free pickled eggs for everyone if you come up and play. Oh, okay.
So here's the funny part about that is the joke. They wanted to offer him free beer, but Aerosmith was like, eh. And so they came up with the free pickled eggs, and Aerosmith actually liked that joke.
Yeah.
Plus, Moe has pickled eggs at the bar.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But I don't know if they're necessarily the best ones, but
and also this is the first band to ever appear on The Simpsons.
Yes.
Aerosmith.
Yep. And so I like how Steve gets up on stage. He's like, "Hello, St. Louis." It's actually Springfield. Because Aerosmith. Why would they play at Springfield? And so their first song they play is "Walk This Way." And as they play it, they're kind of shifting through the bar, and we see Otto and Princess Jasmine dancing on Ned and Maud's table. So how did Ned and Maud get past the bouncer, but Homer, being a regular of Moe's, can't get past the bouncer?
Maybe they were already because some places that do a cover charge, if you go in before they start the cover charge, you can get in. So if you go if you get in at 5, 6 o'clock and the bouncer doesn't show up till 8, then you're already in.
Yeah.
Because we then see Lenny and Carl sitting at the bar while Aerosmith is playing, and they're drinking, and Lenny lights his drink on fire, and he can't blow it out, and sets himself on fire. And and so how do you forget to blow out your fire? You've probably been drinking this for at least a week.
Probably, yeah, or maybe more. It might take a little bit of popularity to get it up, but yeah, I do think it's fun. Lenny lights his head on fire and starts running around. That's pretty great. And so then we see Homer sneaking in through Moe's bathroom window, and he sees Barney in there, and he's wearing a suit. Not he doesn't have the drunk look anymore. He has the more sophisticated Wall Street, maybe alcoholic look.
Yep.
And then he tries introducing him to his 2 new friends that he just met in the bathroom.
Oh my God. So, Homer leaves, and then we cut back, and the band is on stage still singing, and they invite Moe on stage, and Moe gets to sing with Aerosmith.
That was pretty cool.
That's pretty awesome.
Now, I wonder if they did that in the studio. That'd be a really good question to ask one of the writers.
Hank Azaria flew out to do his lines with Aerosmith.
Did he? Okay.
Yes. So I'm assuming
that's pretty cool.
So yeah. And so Homer goes up to the bar, and Kerbopple's there, and she tries to hit on Homer. Homer's like, "You're my kid's teacher." Single father. He's like, "Get away from me."
And I like how this is. So I think we probably won't mention it later, but you see Edna wearing her purple tube top and skirt thing. She's seen later in the episode wearing the exact same outfit. So she's wearing this thing multiple days.
How does she not know who Homer is at this point?
Because no one knows who Homer is. Mr. Byrne doesn't know who Homer is. The only person I think that knows who Homer is his family and Moe. And Lenny and Carl.
I would imagine Edna would know who Homer is because of Bart.
Yes. Or a lot. I guess the only conferences I don't know how. We'll have to put a pin in it. But we'll have to see how many conferences I guess Homer shows up to. I feel like Marge is the parent-teacher conference person.
But how often Bart gets in trouble?
But it's always in Principal Skinner's office. We never see Principal Skinner or Miss Krabappel and Homer and Marge.
But this is also a small town. I would have to assume Edna knows who Homer is.
You would think, but she's probably also drunk.
Probably. So then Homer confronts Moe about the flaming Homer.
Yep. Okay, here we go.
And Colette is her name, who's based off of Diane from Cheers. Overhears the conversation, and I like how the fact that because earlier she said Shant, and she calls Moe Maurice.
Yep.
I'm assuming that's Moe's real name.
Yeah, but I like how Homer's like, "How could you do this, me, Moe? The bar was going under, and it was the drink I invented that saved it. If there were any justice, my face would be on a bunch of crappy merchandise." And then they show the little case with all of Moe's crappy merchandise. And he's like, and she's like, "Oh, is this true, Maurice?" He's like, "Well, he may have come up with the recipe, but I came up with the idea of charging $6.95 for it." Man,
which actually isn't a bad price.
That's not a bad price for Now, to be fair,
this is also 91.
And I mean, if it's like a lot of states, so New York, yeah, this drink would be expensive. But if you're looking at like Wisconsin or even Minnesota, the price actually relatively, and especially if it's not like full shots of liquor, if it's just a dab of like all these other.
Well, it also depends on where you like. If you go to a bar, yeah, $6.95. If you go to like an established restaurant or maybe kind of a chain, but not like, or like a higher end scale restaurant that's just like maybe a singular restaurant in your town, it'll probably cost you $8-9 for that drink.
Yeah.
So then we get a prank phone call.
Best one Mo, so far.
And he calls Mo and he goes, I'm looking for a Jass. First name Hugh Jass. No, somebody check the men's room for a huge ass.
And then a man approaches a bar. He's like,
I'm huge ass.
Telephone.
He's like, who is this? I'm Bart Simpson. Well, what can I do for you, Bart? Well, to be fair, this is a prank phone call gone bad, and I just kind of want to bail.
No, he's like, look, I'll level with you, mister. This is a crank call that sort of backfired, and I'd like to bail out right now. All right. Better luck next time.
What a nice young man.
Better luck next time. That's awesome.
So then, Homer's trying to yell over the crowd to Mo, and Mo can't hear him. And Homer's trying to tell him that he lost a customer. And Mo's like, I'll see you tomorrow. And and Homer leaves the bar. And now this is by far my Now, granted, I didn't watch a whole lot of Cheers growing up. I've seen a few episodes here or there, but it's such an iconic television show.
Yep.
And I love the references, and there's so many coming up. So first, we get a song intro to Cheers, and I actually wrote down the lyrics. So the lyrics are, when the weight of the world has got you down and you want to end your life, bills to pay, a dead-end job, and problems with the wife. But don't throw in the towel, because there's a place.
How about I sing it?
How about we don't sing it and I just read the lyrics? Because there's a place right down the block where you can drink your misery away. At Flaming Moe's, let's all go to Flaming Moe's is an undertone. With liquor in a mug, will warm you like a hug. Happiness is just a Flaming Moe's away. Happiness is just a Flaming Moe away. And it is. Happiness is just a Flaming Moe away. Or it's not, because, even though Homer says alcohol is the cause of and solution to of all of life's problems, it is not. So, and then like there's this whole intro video thing. So some of the scenes we see are Barney passed out in front of Flaming Moe's in his suit. Lou and Eddie having a flaming Moe. Colette slapping Mo for whatever reason, probably being a creep. Mo and Barney cheering on a bar fight between the barflies. That was fantastic. Aerosmith using the love tester, and according to the love tester, Steven Tyler is a hot tamale.
Absolutely.
I mean, if that's your style. Edna hitting on sailors, or like with sailors, but she's drunk, and this is where you said she was still in her same outfit.
Yep,
I believe. And then the last one is Homer looking through a window into Flaming Moe's, being sad.
Yep. And then this is where, at the end of the song, this is where Barney gets his norm treatment. He walks, he's like, Barney!
How's the world treating you, Mr. Gumble?
Burp. Swear. And I love the fact, so on the Simpsons album, they actually included that part on the album, which I thought was hilarious. And so
Barney.
Yep. And so Harv comes back to Moe's, and he's about to offer Moe $1 million for the Flaming Moe. And then once again, Moe thinks Tipsy McStagger is real, because he asks him, what does he ask him about? Like his mozzarella sticks or chicken wings or something?
Yeah. Oh, he's here. Or is this the scene where like Moe's like, oh my God, he's here?
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yep. And so then we get a flash, because he's like, oh, we found out everything except for whatever the secret ingredient is. And so we head over to Tipsy McStagger's research lab, and Professor Frink is analyzing the Flaming Moe, which is a homage to the Nutty Professor. Yep. And according to his research, the secret ingredient is love. And so I was like, who is messing around with a gas chromatographer?
Oh, so here's a fun fact. So according to federal law, you cannot in your ingredients on anything you make, you cannot label it made with love as part of your ingredients. It is a federal law. So you can still make stuff with love, but if you sell it and put it on your label,
can you make it as like what about if it's not in the ingredient list on the back of the bottle? If it's like your slogan on the front of the bottle?
If it's a slogan, I think that's different, but ingredients have to be measurable, and you can't measure love.
What are you talking about? My kid tells me he loves me this much with his arms stretched out wide. That's a pretty good measurement.
So yeah, if Mo is selling it in a bottle with ingredients and he has love on it, or if Tipsy McStaggers wants to do that, that is against federal law.
Yep, and I love this part. So Mo is telling Harvey, that the secret ingredient's gonna die with him, and a delivery man literally walks in with 30 cases of cough syrup. He's like, I got hooked on this stuff while serving in Nam.
Good cover though. Good cover. Yeah. This is a great cover.
I mean, as we all know, I don't know when once again, lack of research, but I guess I don't know when it started, but I remember at some point, maybe it was late 90s, early 2000s, where it actually became like a news report thing where kids were going to stores and getting hooked on cough syrup. And nowadays, like, you have to have an ID to buy this stuff at stores. So, I mean, a little bit before its time, but I could say, Maybe Mo created kids drinking cough syrup and getting addicted to it.
I highly doubt that. I highly doubt that.
Probably not.
That's no.
And so Homer actually is like, okay, I'm sick of Moe's, and he left, and he's like, he's gonna try out a new bar, and he finds a bar in like the most rundown part of Springfield again, and he walks in, he's like, guy pulls out a shotgun, what do you want? And he's like, just a beer. And so he pours him a beer, and he's like, can I get a clean glass? Yeah. And he's like, oh, look at you hoity-toity, blah, blah, blah. and so I can't remember, it was like the Prince of something. I can't remember, but that was just so funny. And so Homer and Marge go to Lionel Hutz to see if they have a case, and Lionel Hutz is actually doing his due diligence. And he says you can't copyright a drink, citing the Frank Wallbanger case of 78. And then this obviously refers to the Harvey Wallbanger cocktail.
Yep, and which we've referred to in season 1.
Yep. And so Lionel Hutz realizes that his legal books aren't just for looking good. He actually looks something up. And now, this, I swear to God, this scene right here, I quote, more times than ever imaginable. And I think I actually mentioned this actual quote in a previous episode when Homer actually started having his sarcastic kind of tones to himself. And this is it right here. So Marge is reading in bed, and Homer, paces back and forth and muttering himself. And Marge's like, Homer, maybe you could take some consolation in the fact that something you created is making so many people happy. Homer's like, ooh, look at me. I'm making people happy. I'm the magical man from Happy Lap in Gumdrop House on Lollipop Lane. And he slams the door, and then he sticks his head back in the room. Oh, by the way, I was being sarcastic. And then I love Marge's response. Well, duh.
And if you watch that scene closely in the mirror, you can see Marge's eyes like half close in that, that look that you'll give somebody like, oh my God, will you just shut up kind of look, which is great too. That's a great attention to detail. I love that. Look at me. And I use that sarcastic tone with friends.
Oh my God. This is just the best. This is just the best.
That's fantastic. I love this scene. It's fantastic. So, after all that, we cut to Mo, who slept with Colette, and she's like, oh, she's worried about him not cutting, a check with Homer and like not giving Homer his due. And Mo mentions that because she's like, I'm worried. And Mo goes, oh, don't worry, baby. My mom won't be home for another 20 minutes. I am honestly, this is probably one of the most shocking things I've ever found out in The Simpsons, that Mo still lives with his mom.
Which is funny.
Because we know Skinner lives with his mom. I knew that. I knew it. Like, I heard that. I'm like, oh yeah, Skinner. But like, he looks like he lives in an apartment.
Yeah, I don't know. I know there's a few Moe episodes like in the future. I'm talking like past season 10 where I think Moe does have his own place.
Yeah, so like the fact that he's like, oh yeah, or maybe his mom was just visiting, but it made it seem like he lived with his mom.
Yeah.
So that was kind of a shocking moment for me.
Yeah.
And so now we're back at the Simpsons and they're sitting down for breakfast, and Homer, he's gone crazy. He's gone completely cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, and he keeps repeating Moe's name. And then Marge sees Bart. Marge asks Bart if he's going to mow the lawn. And Bart replies, if you give me Moe money. And Marge goes, I mow. And then it just keeps going like, oh, let's mow. And like Lisa comes in and this is all Homer hears is Moe. And he gets up and he leaves and he's walking through town in his bathrobe, mind you. And people come up to him. They all look like Moe and they're saying hi to Homer. And then he even sees flowers that have Moe's face on it. He's gone insane. Yeah, Homer has gone off. He needs to go. He needs his stamp removed, or he needs the stamp put back on and his certificate revoked. He is insane.
Yep. So one thing you did miss: Maggie's utterance of Moe may or may not be her first ever spoken word. We don't technically know, depending on whether hallucinations count.
Hallucinations do not count.
She spoke during a Homer freakout when everyone looked like the way he was saying Moe. Maggie also spoke during Bart's nightmare during Bart's nightmare in the episode, the Halloween nightmare episode.
Yeah.
And then she also spoke in Bart versus Thanksgiving. She told Bart, "It's your fault I can't talk." But her lips did not move.
I don't count Maggie. Maggie's first words for me is dad.
Yeah.
I don't count hallucinations. That does not count. A dream does not
but
count.
do we really know? But here's the thing though. Do we really know that Moe from Maggie was a hallucination? Because kids repeat kids repeat what you say. No. Kids repeat what you say. Like even at an early age of 1. No, even at early ages of 1. Homer is muttering Moe to himself. He's literally outspeaking Moe. So it's
a hallucination.
You don't know that.
You don't know that it's not.
No. So you don't know that it's not.
Dad is her first word. That's final.
No, it's not final.
It is
but
final.
I'm just saying that kids repeat what you say. So
because the problem with what you're saying though is the fact that before she says Moe, everybody else is saying Moe.
Yes,
all he hears is Moe. So she might not have said anything, but he hallucinated her saying it.
But her lips moved. Unlike the other time in Bart versus Thanksgiving where she said, "It's all your fault and I can't talk," but her lips didn't move. In this
that was a dream though.
Yes, but in this, her lips actually moved.
I don't consider it her first word.
Right.
I don't know. So anyways, we cut back to Flaming Moe's, and now Edna is hitting on the drummer from Aerosmith.
And she's wearing the same outfit again.
Oh my God. I get that she's a single lady, but keep it down a little bit. So Harv comes in and Moe is about to sell the recipe, and Homer appears in the rafters with half his bathrobe covering half his face, a la the Phantom of the Opera, which is a fantastic musical, by the way. And he starts saying stuff to the crowd that's in there.
Yeah, he's like, "Fools, you poor, pathetic, misguided creatures choking down your flaming Moe's, all the time wondering, how does he do it? Well, I'm going to tell you. The secret ingredient is..."
Moe yells, "No!" And then
cough
we get
syrup. Nothing but plain, ordinary, over-the-counter children's cough syrup. And obviously he's like, "Thank you, Mr. Nutball."
And he tears up the contract, and then Homer falls from the rafters onto Aerosmith, which I thought was hilarious.
At least they cushioned his fall, right?
Yep. And so, we get a 1 week later thing, and now we see, every single storefront has a Flaming Moe kind of name.
Yep, I got them for you if you want.
Oh, sure.
Okay, so the knockoffs of Flaming Moe's that spring up overnight include the Flaming Moe, like Meaux, like a French Moe.
Yep.
Flaming Moe's Pushcart.
Okay.
And Famous Moe's.
Oh yeah. So, and this is this parodies Ray's Pizza in New York City, where dozens of individual establishments have similar names.
Yep. And so reluctantly, Homer goes back to Moe's, and obviously it's torn to crap. Like the bar stools are flipped over, like it looks like a dump again. And the waitress left to pursue her movie career. It's like, what happened to your waitress? She left to move. And he's like, to be fair, that was a dumb idea.
She would have been better off here.
She would have been better off. Yeah, right.
Yeah, Moe would think that.
Yep.
Well, and Homer was reluctant to go inside, and Moe still invites him in.
Yeah. And so Moe and Homer, make up, and then he asks, like how Homer asks, do you think Aerosmith is going to play at the bar tonight? And Moe's like, I doubt it. So was Moe really friends with them?
Probably not.
Maybe.
Probably one of those celebrity things that, once it's over, it's over.
Yep. And so then we start rolling credits, and Aerosmith's song Young Lust from the album Pump plays over the ending credits. And so we learned that Al Jean, I guess he would have been director at the time, not showrunner. Yeah. But at the time had the band record a special shortened version of the song just for the credits, because obviously credits.
Well, I think Aerosmith did it for them. I don't think they asked Aerosmith to do it.
Oh, maybe. Probably works.
So,
but yeah, and then as always, we'll give you our final thoughts. But do we really need final thoughts? I mean, I'm gonna go with a 5. Everything's coming up Millhouse. I mean,
it is a fantastic episode. I love this episode.
I mean, to be fair, this is an episode that stands out, I'm sure, on everyone's top 10. I mean, I don't think I could talk to a single person on the planet, maybe pre-19, maybe 99, maybe 2000, that doesn't put this episode on their top 10. I honestly can't think of it. And I think me and you, I don't think we've done it so far, but grab a pen, grab a paper, write this down, and we'll see if we can come up with let's say by the season 10. I mean, it's obviously far away, but let's say by season 10, let's write down what we think to be our top 10.
Yeah.
And we'll start today. I'm going to write down Flaming Moe's on a piece of paper, tack it up on my podcast table. And as we, come back, if you think, oh, this episode's got to be on my top 10, you can add it. If I think, oh, this episode's got to be on my top 10, I'll add it. And we'll see how likely our top 10s kind of correlate. And then maybe after we get 10 episodes written down, then we rank them ourselves independently and see where we rank our top 10 episodes.
I like that idea. And you guys can play along, and you can give us your top 10. And maybe we'll read a couple on our podcast and
absolutely
give a shout out. But this episode just chef's kiss.
I almost wish without knowing the ingredients, if I could literally grab just dabs of a bunch of different alcohols, light it on and add cough syrup and light it on fire and see what I get, just for sheer fun.
Somebody actually paused the scene where he's mixing, and we're able.
But there's no labels. No, there's no labels on any of the bottles.
That's true. I mean, you could probably figure out. Here's the thing with the Flaming Moe. I think it really boils down to just adding alcohol together, putting a little 151 on top, and lighting it on fire.
Yeah. No, I think that makes and the whole, like I mentioned earlier with the Flaming Dr. Pepper. I mean, maybe one of the alcohols in it was 151. I don't know what makes it taste like Dr. Pepper or make it taste so good. Yeah. Or if it was the sheer fact of adding fire to, maybe it was, I never tried it without it.
Fire does make things better.
Like, seriously, I think lighting the shot on fire might have made the whole drink that much better, which is why the Flaming Moe is awesome. And for those of you, we'll end it with this. For those of you that don't know, if you guys go out to Universal Studios Hollywood, there's a Simpsons theme park, which I have been to.
I was supposed to be there, but COVID.
Yep. And so they do have and it's sold nationwide in like a lot of candy stores and stuff, but you could pick up a Flaming Moe energy drink. It's actually pretty good. I mean, it's basically like Red Bull or whatever, but grab yourself a can and...
I think also Universal has a Flaming Moe shot.
Do they now? Okay, so it wasn't there when I was there, but yeah, go check it out. Go check out the whole Simpsons land in Universal Studios. It's fantastic. So
once they reopen.
Yes, when they reopen. So let's close it off with a character profile of our favorite sleazebag bartender, Moe Szyslak.
Yep.
And so his occupation is a surly, two-faced owner of Moe's Tavern. And he specializes in serving Duff beer. And as we'll learn next episode, there's a specialty Duff being introduced.
There is.
So a little hint at next episode for you. Cocktail mixing skills, virtually non-existent. Even though he learned it in bartending school.
Yeah.
He trusts no one. Serves drinks on the house? Never. Except apparently to repay the nickel to the dude that didn't like the love tester.
Yeah.
Although, to be fair, it wasn't a drink being served at Moe's yet, so I don't know if we could technically call it on the house.
Well, he said it was on the house.
I guess so. Yeah.
You could still charge for it. But Mo probably is like, well, I don't know what to charge for it. Here, just have it on the house.
Yeah. So the bane of his existence, Bart Simpson and his regular prank calls asking for such fictitious bar patrons as...
Fictitious.
Did I say fiction? Well, they're...
Fiction.
Yeah,
fictitious. Still... Fictionist is not a word.
Sure. Fictitious bar patrons as Jacques Strap, IP Freely, B.O. Problem, and Amanda Hugginkiss. And Mike Crotch. And Hugh Jass.
Yep.
And I'm a stupid face. And I'm a stupid face and with an ugly moron with an ugly face and a big butt. And I like to kiss my own butt.
Yes.
Lots of patrons.
Yes.
His heritage. He claims his forefathers were bartenders to the Tsar, which we learned that during this episode. We didn't mention it, but we learned this episode when he was telling us the origins of said Flaming Moe.
Yeah. So
once again, fantastic, amazing, awesome episode that is forever going to be in everyone's hearts. So, so you guys can find us. Let's give us our social media. Yeah. So, you can find us on Instagram, The Simpsons Did It Pod, on Twitter, Simpsons Did It PC, on Facebook, The Simpsons Did It Podcast. You can go onto YouTube, search Simpsons Did It Podcast, and find our YouTube quote unquote video podcast on there, and take a listen if you're a YouTube fan. You can email us at thesimpsonsdiditpod@gmail.com if you have any fun stories, want to tell us anything about The Simpsons, ask us questions that we can answer on air. Feel free to do that. You can support us by going to buymeacoffee.com/thesimpsonsdidit and donate and get some free swag from us for donating. If you don't feel like donating, not a problem. Just listen, enjoy, review us if you have a chance, reach out to us, let us know some fun facts or Simpsons life of your own, because we like to hear what all Simpsons fans have to say.
Yep.
So, until next time, I'm your host, Steven Skolansky.
I'm your co-host, Robert Skolansky.
And this has been The Simpsons Did It.